This is a 2019 Hyundai Veloster Turbo. In today's video, we're going to go over the interior as well as the exterior, go over some of the specifications of this car, and go on a thorough drive. Let's start with the front of the car. Now, the Hyundai Veloster for 2019 has been completely redesigned, giving it this more aggressive front grille, as well as this lower black splitter and these red accents that are only available on the turbo models. Now, if you come to the side here, this is wearing these nice LED lights. Now, it's a bit of L shape and a little bit of a U shape here. Gives it the nice aggressive look when the lights are on. I'll show you that in a bit. If you follow me to the side here, this is on the optional $500 black alloy wheels with the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. Now, if you follow me to the side, this is where things get a little bit interesting. Now, you can see that this car has two doors on this side, but on the other side, there's only one. It has a very unique three-door design, which is basically what makes the Veloster the Veloster. Very sleek, nice wide wheel arches with these nice body lines coming down. This car also has the black side skirts with the turbo badging located here. Now, if you follow me to the rear of the car, this is where things get, at least from my standpoint, a little bit subjective. Now, if you look at the bottom here, I love the design here with the dual chrome tip exhaust in the middle and the nice diffuser. Honestly, the whole bottom of the rear bumper, very aggressive, very sporty looking. That being said, however, this whole part here, the whole top part of it, it's not really my cup of tea. Like I said, it's subjective. Some people like it, some people don't. Now let's move to rear storage space. Now, this car's trunk, I'm not going to bore you with the numbers. They'll be right here. Let's take a look at it. To see if this trunk is actually that big, I'm going to get into it. So let's go to that. So I'm 6'2", about 200 pounds. I'm going to see if I fit in here. Haha, I fit. Now, if you follow me to this side of the car, like I said before, that side has two doors, this side has one door. There's no door here. Very odd, very bizarre, but very unique to the Veloster. The extended wheel arches come to this side as well, giving it an overall very sleek and sporty design throughout the entire car. Now, this car here is powered by a 1.6 liter turbocharged inline four-cylinder engine, producing 205 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Let's take a look at the engine. Now, here it is, the 1.6 liter turbocharged four-cylinder. Now, what does a turbocharged four-cylinder give you? It gives you the fun of having that turbocharger on it, but it also gives you the fuel economy of having a four-cylinder. This car has incredible fuel economy that I will talk about later in the video. For now, let's hear how this engine sounds. Now that we've heard how the engine sounds, let's go get an exhaust clip to see how that sounds. Now that we've talked about the exterior styling and the engine and the exhaust, let's hop inside and let's go for a drive. I'd like to say a special thanks to Calgary Hyundai. They're the ones who gave me this car for the day. Special shout out to you guys. They've got a large lineup of new and used vehicles located in Northeast Calgary. Go check them out. So this car is powered by a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. And as I said, it produces 205 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Now I can tell you one thing that straight away, a little bit of turbo lag, but it's not that bad. You notice it mostly when you switch gears on the 6-speed manual that I'm using. But once you get into it, it goes. It's actually quite a quick car, despite only having 205 horsepower. So for the Veloster, there's 3 different options for transmission. In the base model, there is the 6-speed manual, or there's a 6-speed automatic. In the turbo model, there is also the same 6-speed manual, which I have equipped in this car here, or there is a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Honestly, for this kind of car, you know, a little go-getter, a little hot hatch, I think I would prefer the 6-speed manual over the dual clutch any day of the week. It makes it more enjoyable and more hands-on when you're driving the car. Now let's talk ride quality of this car. Now the springs in this car, I find them extremely nice, very adaptive to whatever road surface you're on. Same goes with the seats. You know, they're extremely comfortable. It's a very nice place to sit when you're driving, you know, a little bit bumpier roads, and then once it flattens out, you don't feel anything at all. So this model that I'm with here doesn't have the 8-inch navigation screen, but it does come with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It comes with sport button, you know, heated seats, heated steering wheel, cruise control, all the stuff you really need. Now, let's talk about the interior quality of the car. I actually really like it. You know, these are the part cloth, part leather seats that we're sitting on now. They feel really good, nice and easy, you know, manually adjustable, no problem with that at all. I find a little bit of it too much hard plastic, but it's not too bad actually. The overall feel of the interior is very, very well built. Now in terms of how this car handles in a town situation or on a highway, very stable, no problems at all there. Always have the power that you need. Now in the city, because of the size of this car, it's extremely practical. You know, especially in a city like Calgary where you go downtown and it's very tight, you'll have no problems whatsoever getting in and out of small parking stalls and getting into parkades, which kind of, you know, it makes it very appealing to a very wide variety of people. You know, it's got that nice factor where, you know, it's very good looking, beautiful interior, and it rides well, and at the same time it's very practical. As you saw when I did my trunk test, it also has a very large trunk. In terms of warranty, what you get from the dealership, you get a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty, which I think is very good. You know, you're getting the peace of mind, you know, buying a new car, having that warranty. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it for you. No need to worry about stuff like that. Now let's talk fuel economy of this car. In the city, this car will get around between 8 and 8.5 liters per 100 kilometer, which is really good in the city, especially for a car that's, you know, it's got a bit of spirit, it's got a bit of soul. Now let's talk highway fuel economy. This car will get 6.9 liters per 100 kilometer on the highway, which is amazing. That is something that a lot of people look for when they're buying a car, is the fuel economy. And, you know, for a lot of people, if they're driving long distances on the highway, they're going to use that highway fuel economy. And 6.9, that's fantastic. Now, that all comes to a combined total of 7.8 liters per 100 kilometer. And in a car that sounds this good when you rev it and sounds this good when you drive it, I'll take that any day of the week. Now let's talk about how this car feels and drives. Now, I'm going into a bit of a twistier section, and we're going to put it into sport mode. Now that we're in sport mode and on these twisty roads, I can tell you one thing. This car is so much fun to drive. It just darts around. When you put it in sport mode, the steering artificially stiffer, which makes these corners way more fun to go around. And with this manual transmission, it doesn't get any better than that. Now in terms of how this car handles these twistier sections, there's little to no body roll. It's a smaller car. It's kind of what you expect, but it comes around these corners extremely well, and then you have that fun go-get-'em power right out of the turn. Now let's compare this to the older version, the predecessor to this car, the older Veloster. Now this car, number one, it looks way better. I wasn't a really huge fan of the original Veloster's look, but I can tell you that I am a fan of the way this looks. The exterior, the interior, the quality, it looks, and overall it's a better car. Hyundai is moving in a direction that, you know, most car makers are moving in. They're moving in that right direction, but Hyundai's moving faster than a lot of them are, and it's really starting to show lately. Now let's talk features of this car, the overall interior of the car. It also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And for those of you who have used Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, it makes a world of difference when it comes to how your phone operates with the vehicle. Other things inside this interior, it's got 2 USB ports down there, one for actual USB and the other is strictly for charging purposes only, as well as a 12-volt charging station there. I like the overall configuration of the center console here. It's nice because everything is laid out nicely and simply. I like these buttons, how they kind of come forward to you and how everything is easy to read. You know exactly what every button does. You're never kind of fretting about, oh, what does this button do? It's nicely labeled and it makes things simple. Now let's talk safety about this car. This car has nice blind spot monitors, which I find them very easy to use. They light up nice and bright, so you always know if there's a car in your blind spot. The car also comes equipped with keyless entry that works extremely well. Don't even need to take the key out of your pocket like most cars, but it just makes things easier. Now, let's talk about the 3 things that I love the most about this car and the 3 things that annoy me the most. Now, we're going to start with the things that annoy me the most so that we can end on a positive note. Number 1, the cup holders are right in kind of my shift zone, as I like to call it. So if I'm shifting, you know, I go to downshift or I go to upshift, I'm going to knock my drinks over. That's a little annoying, gets sticky, kind of gets all over everybody. So you don't really get to have a cup, except for in these cup holders here. Those are good. Now number 2. Number 2 is quite subjective. You know, some people like it, some people don't like it, but Hyundai's not going to change it because that's what makes the Veloster, and that is the 3-door setup. Some people find it a little weird. You know, it does make it a little bit asymmetrical, but that was Hyundai's point from the beginning, you know, and it's a small little thing that kind of doesn't really make that much of a dent. Now number 3. Number 3 is the interior materials, mainly just on the door panel. I'm not a huge fan of the hard plastic look, but that being said, the rest of the interior kind of makes up for it. The aesthetic pleasures of it, very nice. Just the feel of the door panel, not that good. Number 1, the sound. For a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, wow, it sounds good. Number 2, the practicality of this car. As I mentioned before, trunk space, crazy good. Rear legroom, very good. Front space, very good. And the fuel economy mixed with all of that makes it a very, very practical car. No matter where you're going, what you're doing, you can do it in this car. That's what I love the most about this car. Now number 3. Number 3 is how much fun this car is to drive. I love the 6-speed manual transmission. It's very smooth, feels great. And just coming around corners, the stability, the speed, it makes this car very enjoyable and a lot of fun to go, you know, on the twistier roads on the weekends or whatever you're going to do with it. Thanks for watching JNS Daily Drives. If you liked this video, make sure to leave a like. If you want to hear more from us, hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to turn your notification bells on. We look forward to seeing you next video. Thanks.
I was standing outside waiting for you. You were always taking time.